What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the MrCentralDriver channel, where I have the step-up model of the G100. This is the Pro model, 72 volts. Now, this bike did come out in 2024, so I'm a little bit late to reviewing it, so a lot of you guys might know what this bike is about. However, is this bike still good in 2025 or not? Well, we're gonna find out in today's video. Without further ado, let's get into the B-roll. We'll go on the action cam, then I'll tell you guys at the end of the video if this bike is worth it or not. I'll have links and discount codes down below, so do not pay full price for this bike. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first and foremost, let's go over the color of this bike and how it looks, because it is definitely a net breaker. It basically reminds me of Bumblebee from Transformers, if we're being completely honest. I mean, it stands out. When you go up and down the street, people are definitely gonna notice this bike and they are gonna point it out. They're either gonna love it or hate it, and you're either gonna love it and hate it. So it really depends on what you're going for, but if you don't like the yellow of this bike, but you really like the bike in general, they do make it in a black model, so if you want to get the black model, you can. And that one is available as of making this video right now. The yellow one is out of stock, but depending on when you're watching this video, a month from now when it came out, the yellow one might be in stock right now. But I love it because it does come with two batteries. You get a big one up here, 18 amp hours. And keep in mind, this is a 72 volt bike, so you get a lot more range out of these batteries. Also, this one is 15 amp hours, meaning that you get 33 amp hours in total on this bike. And that's good because you have a lot of power coming out of that 3,000 watt motor right here. This thing peaks at 6,000 watts. You got dual rear suspension like you do on an Onyx RCR. You do get that rear rack back here with the turn signals. You get a license plate bracket right here. Something I noticed is that it doesn't really line up to the rear tires, so I'm not sure if that's going to appeal to you or not. I try to move it as best as I could, but it looks like it's slightly off. We'll see if that affects us when we're riding. It does come with a rear fender. It's a very unique style of a fender, but however, I was missing the bolt for this and I was missing a few of these, so I was unable to put the rear fender on. So I'm actually gonna remove this whole unit so I don't lose none of this, but it's a little thing that goes on the back. It actually doesn't cover the whole thing, so it's not gonna be the best rear fender. I'm not gonna have one in general, but definitely probably put it on if you're worried about mud getting splashed up here and whatnot. And here's how it looks if you were to have that on there. It really only covers the back part right there, but it does look kind of nice, but it's not doing a whole lot. Now, something that caught my eye right off the bat down here is how big these axle nuts are. I don't even think my Super 73, that 72 volt that I converted, is even this big. These are massive. You shouldn't have to worry about these coming loose, but definitely if you do buy this bike, maybe check them every couple months to make sure they didn't come loose, because you definitely don't want this to shimmy out. But damn, those are massive. For how big this bike is, you do get a small kickstand right here, and when you do push the bike up, it actually comes pretty close to the ground still, but it doesn't affect anything. The bike doesn't lean too far over, so I like that. Another thing I really like about this bike is that you do have some extra storage down here for a little basket, and you can also remove this battery if you want more storage. Keep in mind, the way HAPPYRUN uses these bikes, it only runs off of this battery or it runs off of this battery. You can't run both batteries at the same time. So you're either gonna love that or hate it. I kind of like it because guess what? You have a nice kill switch down here. It's that little button right there. So right now, if it's on the equal sign on this side, you're running the top battery. If you put it in the middle, that means none of the batteries will activate. You can't get any electric power to this bike. If you flip it over to this one, it goes to the bottom battery. So I think that's a pretty cool feature. Just in case you're gonna run either one of the batteries, you can run this one down, or if you want, use this one because it's smaller, and then once this one runs out, you can switch to this one and it gives you more range, and then you can get your ass home. And I kind of think that's a cool idea. Now, another thing, because they do have the kill switch down there, they also have key cards to keep you from preventing your bike from getting stolen. So for example, if someone knew that this bike had a kill switch, because there's so many reviews of this bike already, you still need a key card. And they give you 2 of these key cards. You gotta come up here and hold the S button. It's still gonna look like it kind of turned on, but it didn't. You're still not getting any electrical power right now. It has a little NSC right there, and it shows that it's locked. You come up and tap this, and now it's in park mode. You hit the brakes, and now you're good to go. It's also nice that they give you 2 keys for the top battery, and they give you 2 keys for the bottom battery, and these keys do not work together, so the bottom battery is not gonna work for the top battery. Just make sure you don't lose the keys. Maybe separate them and keep 2 of them at the house, because if you do lose them, you cannot remove these batteries from the bike anymore. You have to contact the company and then give them the code on the battery to get a replacement one. Another nice thing is that they do give you 2 chargers, which is super nice, so you don't have to get up in the middle of the night for your ride in the morning to switch it to the bottom battery or the top battery. The only thing is they are only 2 amps. These are not very fast chargers, so it's gonna definitely take a long time for these batteries to charge up. Moving on to the front, looks like you got some plastic fenders. This one does shake a lot because it doesn't have the things that go to the forks, like the little bar, so it definitely is really flimsy on the back. The hydraulic brakes are from DY Island, and you get 180 millimeter rotors. I actually thought this bike would have bigger rotors for how much power this bike has. The rear one actually looks a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, it's hard to see. It's down in here, but this one is 203 millimeters, and the front one is 180. Looking at that front axle down there, it is a through axle, and it doesn't have that quick release that the original one used to have, and I'm glad it doesn't, because I don't think I would have trusted a quick release on a 72 volt bike. And here's our tires. They're 20 by 4 inches. They're nice and fat. They look like a street pattern. They don't really look for off-road really, but I mean, you could probably go a little bit off-road, but be a little careful. This bike definitely does have some power. The good thing, it doesn't have a front motor, so it's not gonna feel too heavy in the front. It's not gonna wash out or anything like that. These tires can go up to 20 PSI as well. I have mine normally aired up to about 18 PSI, so I get some decent range out of it, also a little bit more comfortability out of it. If you feel like this bike is too bumpy for you, however, because there are no adjustments on the front. If you noticed, nothing up here to adjust the front. So whatever the suspension feels like up front, that's what you're stuck with. So you can always air the tires down to get a little bit more comfortable riding out of it. However, you're gonna lose range when doing that. Which the range for this bike, they say is 78 miles max. And that's with using both of these batteries, flipping between the 2. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say if you're doing 45, 50 miles an hour everywhere and you're about 200 pounds, I see you getting about 30 to 35 miles of range. If that, it really depends on the terrain, if you're going up a lot of hills and stuff like that. But you're definitely not gonna get that number unless you're like going super slow. So just keep that in mind. It's doable, but not if you wanna go fast. And because this is a fast bike, why do you need gears on this bike? You just have a single gear. It is decently big in the back. However, it is a small chain ring up front. It does have double guards on both sides, but this is not a pedal bike. This is really just a mini motorcycle to go back and forth, to go super fast. You could definitely pedal this bike probably at a lower speed. We'll test it out in a little bit, but this is not a bike that you're gonna be pedaling 30 plus miles an hour. It's just not gonna feel comfortable at all. So just keep that in mind. Now, surprisingly, this bike holds up to 400 pounds, which is really nice. So if you're a big person, you're not gonna have an issue when sitting on this bike. Also, it is a pretty decently low bike. The seat is super wide though. My feet are coming very far out, and I'm not trying to have them sit like that. But once you do put your feet on the pedals, that goes away and it feels perfectly fine. It is really close to the battery, so keep in mind, do not hit the front brakes. That's why the front brakes are probably smaller on this bike, so you don't slide all the way up and hurt your nuts. But yeah, it's really a fantastic bike to sit on. It doesn't feel that high. It actually feels pretty low back here, and the handlebars feel pretty high up here. So if you want a more seating position like this, I'm 5'9", 165 pounds, and I don't have an issue with it. I feel like I'm gonna be very comfortable on this bike. However, the seat does feel like it's not that soft, so I'm really curious to see how it's gonna feel when riding it for 10 plus miles. So next I wanna show you guys are the lights on this bike. So I'm gonna get this bike turned on for you guys. Process, like I said, hold the S button, it beeps. I like the feedback that the bike gives you. Hold the NSC up there. Now we're activated. Get that headlight on there. Let me turn off the lights of this garage. And there you go. That is the light for the front. Now it looks like it only has one mode. You either have the ring on the outside, daytime running light like that, or you have the main beam. And it looks like it's really centered, but it also looks like it does have a beam on the very bottom that goes pretty wide. So looks interesting. We'll definitely do a night video on this thing to see how it is, but so far it's kind of giving me mixed signals about if it's gonna be good or not. It looks like it's super high, but we can always, you know, move that down if we need to. And then also here is our brake light back here. And if you do hit the brakes, it does get brighter. It also sounded like it made a noise. Oh, that was because we took it out of park mode. That's right. So this bike has a park mode before it will move. So it makes a beeping noise when you hold the brakes to take it out of park mode and it goes into gear. But that wasn't because of the brakes. So the brake light looks decent, not too bad. Let's get our turn signals on. You can do both turn signals at the exact same time, which is super nice. So you can do like a hazard. It's also sequential. I do got them set up correctly, right? Yeah, so I am hitting the right one, make sure, because you can always wire them separately because all the plugs are the same. They just plug into each other. But yeah, that's pretty nice. Those are definitely very bright. I love that it has an R on left on the top. I'll bring you in here really quick and show you. See, it shows you the left and the right here, which is super nice. So just in case you don't see your turn signals down there or you can't hear that audible beep, it definitely tells you on the display what's on and what's not. It also shows that the bike is unlocked. This display is gorgeous at night and it looks beautiful. During the day, however, it is very washed out. So I'm really curious to see if this guard right here, the windscreen, is going to help, because the other HAPPYRUN bike I had was really hard to see, but they do have some really cool stuff on this display. Now I think the last button I haven't hit on here is the horn. Ooh, it's loud in the garage, definitely loud in the garage. It is coming from that headlight though, because you can see the little speaker mesh right there behind it. Now one thing I want to mention and point out is that when I was putting these turn signals on, technically I think I could put them down here because they were running into the headlight, so I think I have them a little bit too far out. So if you do install them on the bike, put them back here instead of on the front one. All right, that should be it. Let's take this thing out for a spin, make sure everything's working. Let's go. Dang, this thing's gonna have a lot of power. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, that's a big truck. We are on the bike with the action cam. We're gonna see how fast this thing goes. I love to do speed tests right off the bat because we have a brand new, fresh battery. And actually right now, I want to let you guys know we're running on the bottom battery, which is a smaller one. We're gonna do a speed test on that. I'm gonna come back and then do a speed test on this one. So we're gonna switch the batteries. But let's see how this thing goes. And we got a truck over here, a truck over here, and a truck over here. We gotta wait for a bit.
12 seconds later.
All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. I have my phone up here because you cannot see this display. This is really not helping. Maybe a little bit, you can see it slightly going over the display, but really can't see much. So 35, 36, I'll close my visor. 40. It's pretty windy too, folks. I'll do it coming back as well. Maybe we'll get better results coming back. 44, 45, 46, 47. Woo! 48 miles an hour. Let's go. That was all on that single battery down there. 15 amp hours in total. Let's do that test coming the opposite way. Maybe we'll have less wind resistance. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, 8, 14, 19, 22, 25, 28, 30, 34, 36, 37, 38, 39, 42. Yeah, we're actually getting more wind coming this way and it's slightly uphill. 45, 46, still moving. Dang! All right, so we're not going as fast as coming the other way, but there's a lot more wind. Now let's see how it does with the other battery on there. Now it doesn't get up to top speed super quick in like a short distance. It does take a while, but still, that's fast. All right, so I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna switch that. Now, it looks like the bike stayed on. I switched it fast enough where it stayed on. Things are flashing though. It's saying that this battery is depleted, so not exactly sure. Is it on, right? It is on. It's showing it's depleted. Hold on, let me reset the bike. NFC. All right, cool. All right, so we found a glitch in the matrix, guys. So if you switch over from the bottom battery to the top battery really quick, it started flashing like I had no battery life in this battery, but it was fully charged. Now we're running on it. So just know that if you do switch over the battery, make sure to turn the bike off and turn it back on so you don't have any issues like I just did right now. So without further ado, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, park mode. 1, 2, 3. Now we can go. I'm wondering if we're gonna get any more top speed out of the top battery because it's slightly bigger. I really think we would, because the voltage sag wouldn't be as strong. And I feel like we're already moving faster. 40 miles an hour already. That actually did feel quicker. 42, 44 roughly. Keep going. Still windy as hell. Super windy. 45, 46, 47. I'm tucking. Come on, 48. Oh, it's so windy. All right, 47 miles an hour is the max we're gonna get out of this bike. I think if it wasn't so windy, we would get a little bit faster out of it. But still, very quick bike and so smooth. No noise coming out of that motor. It's very stealthy and quiet. I love it. Now, I wish that I could move this down. So the handlebars, you can move back and forth. But this is my seating position right here, which feels comfortable. If I had them too close, I'd be sitting way farther back, and my back would be actually farther back than I'd wanted to. Right now, I'm sitting straight up on this bike, so it feels really comfortable. I'm not gonna hurt my back. However, the display is mounted with 2 screws on the back. This windscreen is actually mounted underneath the display as well, but you can't move the display anywhere. I would actually want it to be facing me a little bit more. Right now, it's facing up in the air. The GoPro might show it a little bit differently, but it's really not, I can't see it at all. At night, it's great. When we do the night riding video in the second video after this, you're gonna see how nice the display is. But during the day, it sucks. You really can't see it. I gotta put my hand over here. This thing only goes over like a quarter of it. I can't see anything. Oh, here, let me use my turn signal. Yeah, I got turn signals on this bike. Let's go. I can hear that noise, especially with a full face helmet. I heard it. Now let's go about 35 miles an hour, let off. See how stable the bike is. No front motor. It's not very heavy in the front. Still a heavy bike overall, but look, nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. A lot of people don't do that test. I want to show you that test because it gives you an idea of how stable the bike is. So when you ride with one hand, obviously it's still going to be slightly bumpy because you got to make sure you air these tires up correctly. If one is slightly off, it's going to feel a little bumpy, but I actually really feel like this bike is smooth as hell on the road. Surprising, with no adjustability on the front, no preload, no lockout, no nothing. So that kind of sucks, but I mean, the front feels really good. And the tires, they feel really good as well. Oh, okay. Alrighty, buddy. Alrighty, buddy. What are we doing here? Man, did you not see me hauling ass going hella fast, bro? I was moving. All right, we're out of here. Lots of construction in this area. At least we have a fast bike. We could just jam the hell out of here. No one would catch up to us. No one's running after us. You have to get in the car. Let's go. Nice smooth road. Like I said, this bike is really just smooth overall. The tires are really smooth. I'm really digging the tire setup they put on here. But I don't know how it's gonna feel off-road. We'll do that in a little bit. I really feel like this is not gonna be a bike for off-road, if we're being real. We'll just see. God dang, we were hauling ass. Absolutely hauling ass. Everyone just staring at us. And it feels like you're not even going that fast. I know that sounds funny, but it really feels like we're not hauling ass and going that fast. It just feels so smooth. Solid bike, especially for that rear that I told you earlier that looked a little off center and bent in the back. I don't know if it's just bent or the way I put the rack on the back, but it wasn't centered in the back. But that's not affected anything. This feels fantastic. Going around turns, it's a little heavy. I can definitely feel it in my thighs. It's rubbing up against the seat a little bit. If I pedal, it's definitely a bike that just does not feel very good to pedal for me. I feel like my legs are way out to the side, like way out to the side, more than I'd want them to be. So it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right to me. But this is really not a bike to pedal, but it's cool that you have the pedals for legal reasons, so you can get away with riding this bike. Just go the speed limit, go off-road. Like, roads like this should be perfectly fine going pretty fast, but go on a public road, cars and stuff like that, be a little careful. Watch out for cops, because This is definitely over a class 3 e-bike, but it's a fun bike at that, I'll tell you. So if you guys want a fun bike, man, can't go wrong with this thing. I'm just, you know, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but I've always liked every single bike I've had that I put a 3,000 or 5,000 watt hub motor on it that had no noise, and this is just like that. You get decent power, nothing crazy like a mid-drive, but still enough power to just get you from point A to point B, and just smoothly too. Here comes a bump, let's see how this is. Oh wow, what the hell? That went over that like nothing. Holy crap, man, all right. Good job, Happy Run. Wow, I'm surprised. I am really surprised on that. Whoa, okay, that was a big dip. I came out of the seat. The seat still isn't that comfortable, I'll tell you that. The bike is comfortable. I feel it in the tires, I feel it in the suspension, but the seat could have been a little tiny bit better. It really could have. But it is what it is, it's okay. Maybe a company will make an upgrade for the seat, or maybe they already had. It's really nice and wide and flat, but it's too flat. It needs to be a little bit more fluffy. But they probably did that for height reasons, so you can actually get on it if you're a smaller rider. Because if they would have put more cushion in the seat, you would have had to been a taller rider to get on this bike. But I think I would have liked a little bit more cushion, at least for my butt anyway. I have went 5 miles so far, and I can't even tell you what our battery is because I can't see the display. But if I put my hand over it, it shows full battery bars. So we're doing pretty good on that top battery. And here's my horn. All right, not bad, not bad. Oh man, he was just in his own little world. He did not care. Awesome, I have found the perfect road for us to do the braking test. All my braking tests are done at 28 miles an hour, so I'm gonna turn around, hold 28 miles an hour, hit the brakes. Let's see how well it does. We're gonna go off this blue fire hydrant right here. Let's get up to 28, that's about 29, 28, 27. Oh, my handlebars. Whoa. I didn't tighten the handlebars good enough, but very good braking though, very good braking. Oh man, just like I said though, and I'm not making this up for the video, my body slid into this battery, so I'm not feeling too good. I think we're gonna take a break off to the shoulder really quick. I'm just gonna sit down here for a second. Oh, and then we'll get back on the ride.
2 hours later.
All right, guys, I'm back. Still not feeling 100%. Now, I can't believe I did not tighten those handlebars good enough, so I'm gonna have to go back and tighten those, but I think we'll be okay for the rest of the video, but I'm gonna push them a little bit forward, or a little bit closer to me, so just in case they go forward, we don't have that issue. But that's my own fault. I put the handlebars on, not Happy Run's fault. Now here comes the off-road test. Woo! The back moved a little tiny bit. Not much, but it still moved on me. Oh wow, this is smooth. Oh, I'm hauling ass. I am definitely hauling ass on this road. Not too bad. That's so plush. Such a comfortable bike. I feel like these tires are just like a cloud. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. And surprisingly, with all this power, I mean, normally I'll feel a bike kind of wash out. I mean, I'm not trying to hit these corners super fast. I know a limit of a bike on how low you can go cornering, but it's handling very well. Now let's do the hill test. Now we don't even need to use the pedals. We only have like 1 to 5 modes. I'm just gonna go in the highest pedal assist because if you're going up a hill, you're most likely gonna be in the highest pedal assist anyway. So let's see how well it does. 1, 2, 3. Throttle only. Climbing. 72 volts, baby, coming in clutch. What is that, 19 miles an hour? Jeez, man. That's quick. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this bike if you need power, especially if you're in like San Francisco, hilly areas, anything of that nature. This bike will climb over anything. I'm really pretty impressed. That's not just to sell bikes to you guys. I'm actually really impressed with this bike. If you don't like the yellow, get the black, because personally, I don't think I would have went with yellow. But this is their signature color. That's what all reviewers have, but I really think the black one looks badass. Oh, okay, look at that, hold on. The front tire is starting to slide out just a little bit. I was doing about 30 and I dropped down to about 24, 25. But yeah, that front tire right there is now starting to give way. And we're in some light, I guess you could say, rocky sand. Loose gravel, you could say. Straightaways are perfectly fine. Turns though, I don't trust the tires on a turn very fast. Definitely not hauling ass around here. Woo! Another thing I like, because we're coming up to the bridge right now, is that these handlebars are very short. And you have a lot of room on the handlebars still. You see how I have my phone up here and I still have room on the other side? Look at that, it goes through this bridge, no problem. I can even put another light mount up here. I can even put stuff right down here. I love BMX style handlebars because you have so much room for stuff. And this isn't even blocking anything. I have no shifter mechanism over here, so it's not blocking that. I have the S button right here to turn the bike on and off. That's not blocking that at all. And I still have so much more room. So I love it. Great handlebar choice to me. Just make sure you tighten those bolts down. Here we're coming through some sand. Ooh. Oh, shit. Oh man, all right. Should have went a little slower, a little sketchy. Now I have seen people put street tires on this bike, so you can definitely get some Michelin's or I think they're Shinko tires, the ones that I put on my Super 73, and you can have a solid street tire. Or if you want to put some dirt tires, get any type of 20 by 4 inch fat tire, dirt tire, and you'll be perfectly fine. Just, I would say, get something thick because you definitely want to make sure that you get something that's not going to get punctured really easy, because that would suck. Riding this bike super far and you get a flat. So normally in this section we do the gear selector and see how that is, if it's nice and smooth and how it feels and whatnot, but we don't have that. So what we're going to do is a throttle response and the pedal response, and then we're going to see where ghost pedaling starts at. So right now as I'm cruising 20 miles an hour, throttle 1, 2, 3, it's instant power, no issues. I'll let off, I'll do that one more time. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, instant power. It gives you everything right off the jump. I don't even think there's a delay at all. I seriously don't even think there's a delay. It is so quick. Now let's see how fast the pedals are. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on pedals, oh there we go, all right. So the pedals have like a 2-second delay, let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, okay. Maybe 1.5 seconds before the power kicks on with the pedals. And what I like about the pedals is that it's not a torque sensor, it's a cadence sensor. So look, I barely have to move my feet and it gives me max power. So if you are lazy like me and you just want all the power out of the bike possible, thanks man, then yeah, this is a great bike for if you don't want to pedal. And thanks for that guy letting me go by, because I know I'm gonna haul ass around him because I'm gonna be going way faster than him. So I appreciate you, I should have honked. Show him, hey, I'm going, buddy, I'm going. Woo! Street tires are great for turning. Oh yeah. I feel pretty comfortable turning with this bike on the street. It's not the dirt. And it's a pretty solid bike to turn. There's one con about this setup though with turning. And I'll show that to you guys right now. Let's say I gotta turn up here. All right, I'm doing it. All right. So that wasn't too bad, right? But let's say your friend's like, oh, we took a wrong turn. We shouldn't be going this way, and you want to turn around. Okay, well, that's my turning radius right there. And I can still make the turn, but it is limited on how far you can go with that wheel. So that's as far as it turns before it hits the frame. So just keep in mind that it's a little bit harder to store it places or back it up places. Sometimes you might have to lift it up in the back to kind of move it. And then again, like if you're going to turn right here, look, like I'm going like way over in the dirt and stuff like that. So not the best bike for turning, but it is what it is. Not too much of a deal breaker, just something to mention. So now let's get on to that ghost pedaling. I feel like it was super low. So I'm connected. I'm not connected. I am not connected. It was like 8 miles an hour or something like that. Holy crap. Yeah, definitely not a bike to pedal at all. 8 miles an hour is garbage. Man, you are not connected to this bike at all after 8 miles an hour. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, that's when your feet are just freely moving on the bike and you have no resistance on that crank or the chain or nothing. So your feet are just moving freely without resistance. That happened at 8 miles an hour. That is super low. That is super low. It's cool though. I like a bike like this. I'm cool with it. No gears, get rid of it. Save weight. I don't need no gears on a bike. No, this is a cool bike though. Brakes are solid, but we're not gonna continue testing those out just because of the handlebar situation. Man, Happy Run. You guys gotta make more bikes like this. What the heck? This is a fun bike. Now I was really like skeptical when I got on it, and I felt like how low I set and how high the handlebars were, but you know what, like I feel very comfortable. My thighs really burn though. My thighs burn, especially when pedaling and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot of rubbing, especially when not having jeans on and stuff like that. Let me use my turn signal so they know I'm turning. I have my turn signal on, buddy. Don't be inching out. Man, he was in a rush, man. Maybe he thought I was going straight or nothing. I don't know. I have my turn signal on. Come on now, pay attention. So far on the bike, I got, it says 9 miles on the bike since we turned it on, but that was when we put the second battery on, which means we probably switched the batteries at like 1.5, maybe 2 miles. Because so far I almost have 9 miles on the bike. I got 8.7, which means on this battery is about 7 miles, and we were down to 2 battery bars, and right now, after I let off, I'm only losing 1. So, you take that with a grain of salt. I don't know where to ride. I was just gonna go ride anywhere. I'm actually really enjoying this bike. I don't really want to get off of it. It's so quiet and just smooth, and you're just chilling, you know, like you're just vibing out. Let's go down that dirt road. That looked pretty fun. Knowing how my videos have been going lately is probably most likely private property, but I don't see a sign, but we're just gonna go through it. We gotta do these tests. Oh shit, dip! Oh, the handlebars moved. Oh, whoa, I don't even know this road. We're going way too fast. But this is a good off-road test right here. Wow. It's still really smooth. It really is. I mean, if you hit a pothole, you hit a pothole. There's nothing you can do. Any other bike is still gonna feel like that too, but wow. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Other than that one big dip I hit. Look how far we went already. That is crazy. This bike, man, goes distances super far. If you're trying to get to work hella fast, you don't want to be in the hot sun like it is right now. It's 102 right now. I'm sweating my balls off, literally. This is a perfect bike to get the wind through your body and your helmet and everything and not feel like you're breaking a sweat. I actually don't feel too bad out here. And that's because it's how fast this bike goes. It's amazing. It really is amazing. I feel like I should keep this bike for a little bit. Man, let me see you guys back in the house because this is an awesome bike. Let me give you my final thoughts because I've been saying too much already. Uh-oh. Oh no! Our top battery just quit on us. It has a wrench and the battery icon's flashing. So did we go too low on the battery? I was making my way back home. Now I know for a fact that this bike is fine. I bet you it's just the voltage sag coming from that battery. Everything is completely turned off now. And that was exactly at probably 8 miles because right now on here it says 9.9 miles. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it back on. Oh, that battery might be completely dead. So let's go to the other battery. I switched over to the other battery, turned the bike on, and there we go. It's working all over again. Now we're good to go, and we have full battery bars all over again because we only put like 1.5 miles on this other battery. But man, was that scary. So at least on this bike, you can run the battery down as far as it will go, and then you'll know to switch over to the other battery, and then you can still get some range out of this bike. That did catch me off guard though. I thought something did happen to the bike, but I was like, nah, I should be fine. All right, guys, well, we are back, and I'm super sweaty. And like you imagined when I was saying in my video review, when I was riding this thing, oh my God, it's such a fantastic bike. Like, I did not expect to like it. Again, I'm not a big fan of yellow. I wouldn't have got the yellow one. I would have got a black one, but you do have the option to get the black model if you don't want to stand out like this, because again, you can come over and paint this stuff if you want, but I don't know, overall, it's gonna be a mess if you have to take this whole bike apart and paint it. So just get the black one if you don't like the yellow, but it's a fantastic bike overall. In 2025, 72 volt bikes are slim to none. There's really not many 72 volt bikes unless you get an electric dirt bike or a Sur-Ron, Talaria, you know, stuff like that, where it's like pushing the limits of stuff, the E-Ride Pro SS and Alta Stigma, you know, they're getting up there on the almost 100 volts. This thing holds its ground for how it is, and it's so quiet. I just love the fact that this is how I build my bikes. I put a hub motor on it, no gears, no nothing, nice and silent, gets you from point A to point B, has a decent amount of torque, not mid-drive power torque, but still enough to get you going, and it's just silent, and the top speed is always there. I love top speed because that's where I go all the time. I go long distances, and I always have long straightaways, so I love top speed e-bikes, and I can't recommend this one enough. I really can't. On my phone, it says we did 10.37 miles, We did about 2 miles on one battery, and then we did the rest on the other battery. So we did about 8 point something miles on that one battery until it completely flatlined, and I had to switch it over to the other one. The range is the worst thing I can say about this bike, realistically. It's hands down the worst thing about this bike. 33 amp hours sounds great until you have 6,000 watts in the back of this bike. So yeah, 20 miles roughly is what you're probably gonna get out of this bike when going over 45 miles an hour. If you do about 40, maybe you'll get a little bit more than that, but it also depends if you're a heavier person or not. Because this bike holds up to 400 pounds and you might wanna have some cargo in the back, you might wanna have some extra stuff from the grocery store back here. I don't know what you're gonna be doing with the bike. You might have hills. You might even get 15 miles of range, just depending on how much you weigh this bike down. So if you're 350 pounds, don't expect the range that I'm getting, but also you can always go slower. You don't have to go as fast as I am. So put in pedal assist 1, go about 12 miles an hour or so, you'll definitely get some better range out of it. I highly recommend this bike. Please use the links down in the description because this bike is still great in 2025 and I highly recommend it. I really do. I'm thinking about keeping this one for a little bit if I didn't get too many bikes in, and I'll try to ride it a little bit more, but we will do a night video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys are the true MVPs. Peace out. I gotta go. It's hot.